Hey guys, I'm back up to garage working on the sheet metal brake again. Getting ready to start loosely putting some of the fabricated parts together. In the plans that came with it, they actually recommended using the 3-inch angle iron for the bottom of the feet as well as the uprights. I didn't have enough 3-inch angle iron. I didn't want to spend another $117 for another stick of 3/4 or 3-inch angle iron, so I had some 1.5 inch stuff that's galvanized laying around, and I had several pieces of this 2-inch thick-walled galvanized fencing posts. So I thought, well, use what you got, right? So I took these, cut them to the length that's specified, took 2 pieces of the angle iron and actually welded it back to back, and then took and notched out the center of it so that the pipes would sit over it, and they actually sit on there pretty decent. So once I get ready to weld everything up, I can weld those down on there. Of course, I'm going to take my square and square everything up to either side, as well as across the beam of it like this. The main part of it, the leaf that the metal actually gets bent over, is this piece right here. It actually gets a stiffener bracket welded from one edge to the other, I guess, to keep the metal from flexing in the center. I just got done spraying some weld-through primer on the back side of this, and then after I get everything welded up, I'm going to take some oil-based paint the entire thing, but I wanted to get some of this in here. I'm going to do like Tommy Shoe said. I primed the whole thing, and I'm going to take a Q-tip with some lacquer thinner here in a few minutes once this is dry, and just basically wipe off just where the edge of the metal is going to sit, so I'm not actually trying to weld through the primer, but it's there. So, talking about the weld-through primer, I've never seen this brand before. I went by my local paint store to pick up a few strainers because I was out the other day, and they had a half-off table sitting there as you come in the door, and this said $6.95, and I asked the guy, I said, is that the half price? And he said, no, that's full price. So I got 2 cans of this stuff for like $3.50 a can. It's U-Paul, the same people that make the Raptor liner. So far, it seems to be some pretty good stuff for $4 a can. I couldn't pass it up. I bought the only 2 he had. I asked him if he had any more, and he said no, that was it. So I guess time will tell, but for that price, I couldn't pass it up. So I'm going to turn the camera back off, and once I get everything jigged up to do a little bit of welding and stuff, I'll bring you guys back. This is just kind of a slow process, getting everything machined up and getting it all ready to go. The welding probably won't take very long, but I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay guys, time to get a few tacks in place on this. Going around and remove the weld-through primer on the edges where the welds are going to go, and I've got it clamped in a couple of different locations. So I'm going to, hang on a second, let me turn this heat off so you guys can hear me. I'm going to probably tack it in the center and then move my clamps over, so that way I'm sure I'm getting a good bunch of tacks down through here, and then once I get everything tacked in place, I'll go back and do short runs so as not to warp the angle iron itself, because this is just a stiffener plate to keep the thing from twisting whenever you start bending a piece of heavy gauge metal. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting some tack welds done. I guess I better put some gloves on, that's going to hurt. Okay, here we go. I know I told you guys I was going to use my stick welder to weld this thing up, but I tried a few test runs with my wire feed welder, and it goes up to 100 amps, and I've got it set all the way up on the heat range, and it seems to do pretty good. So in order to keep having to try and dig that stick welder out, I'm going to give this a shot and see how it holds. But I do have rods available if this doesn't look like it's going to do the job. This is just a lot easier to use than the stick welder because you don't have to keep re-sticking every few times when your sticks run out. Looks like it's penetrating pretty good. I think this will be okay. Still in the frame, okay. Kind of missed on that one. There we go. Oh yeah. I think that's going to work pretty well. Of course, this piece I'm putting in the center here is just 1/8 inch, which is what they recommended. So I'm going from 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch on the angle iron, and it seems to be going in there pretty good. I'll just keep working my way down through here, tacking it. Once I'm finished with this, I'm actually going to take and put a small triangular piece here on the ends where this is braced into it. This piece is just a little shorter, the 1/8 inch piece is, than what it calls for in the plans. That's what I had available on some more scrap metal that I had. So I think it's going to be long enough to work on this. So keep going down through here, tacking the metal together. I have to kind of watch as I'm putting this together though, because it recommends that you keep this diagonal piece about 5/16 away from your front edge, because that's actually where your metal's going to be bending, maybe. Yeah, this is the edge right here that the metal's going to fold over to, so if you deform this or if you get any notches or welding bumps or anything on there, it'll transfer that into the piece of metal that you're bending. So I'll have to watch whenever I'm done and go back and clean all this up real well, maybe even take a file to it to make sure that I've not got any irregularities in it. So let's keep going down through here. I think you guys can still see me. Couple more to go, maybe 4, and I should have it tacked in place. More to go. Alrighty. On the other piece that the bracket's actually clamped together to is some 3/8 bolts, and it recommends that you go ahead and weld the nut to the bottom side, because the leg is actually going to go up over the top of this and from here down to the bottom of the legs. So you got to get this nut welded in here so that you have a place for that bolt to screw into once you get the leg and everything in place. So I'm going to go ahead, I've got that all cleaned up and ground, the mill scale ground off, and I actually put some nuts on the bolt itself to keep from damaging the threads with any splat or anything that might get on them. So I'm going to go ahead and get that welded on as we speak. So. Let that cool for a minute, do the other end while that's going. I don't want to get that nut too hot. Okay, that's got the other end tacked up. And next in line will be welding the round legs to the brackets at the bottom of the feet. How you guys like my redneck welding table? 2 milk crates and an old piece of wire shelving. It seems to work pretty good. I don't have to worry about breaking anything or burning anything up unless I get too carried away, then I could possibly melt the milk crate. Let's set one of these up here and see what we got. Clamp that down so it doesn't dance around while I'm trying to work with it. Hope this isn't boring you guys to death. Yeah, I think you can see there. It's kind of hard to tell on the view screen on this camera. It's pretty small. I'm just checking out to make sure that I've got the pipe centered from one side to the other on the angle iron. Looks real close, and I've already got my magnets set in place to make sure that I've got the leg going at 90 degrees to the face. So with that, we'll go ahead and get it tacked up. The first one of two. Okay, get tack on the other side here. Put a little bit more of that on that one. That's not quite enough. There we go. Now I think the nuts down here I'm trying to get welded to cool off enough. I can go ahead and put a couple more spots on that. Oh, move my clamp from my ground. That's probably going to be one of the next projects I build, will be a good welding table so I can get up out of the floor, and that way you just got to clamp it down and hook your ground to the table. So. And one more time. Any of you guys that weld already know this. This is for any of you guys that don't. Whenever you're welding a thinner piece of metal to a thicker piece of metal, you want to definitely angle your torch so that your wire is concentrating most of your heat on the thicker piece, because if you don't, you'll just go through and burn the thinner piece, like this nut for instance. You'll go plumb through it and not have any penetration at all on the thicker metal. So maybe that'll be something to help somebody somewhere. You get this other one on the other end, I'll be right back. Alrighty then. Now we go back to this. For the legs, and go ahead and do a little bit more welding on that. I think it's going to stay in position pretty close. I'll leave the magnets on there until I've pretty well got the base welded up around the sides. And then once I've got that, I'll be pretty positive that it won't move. And I'll weld up the vertical sides of the pipe where the angle iron touch it there. So I keep forgetting to move my ground clamp. Okay guys, I'm going to let the welder cool off for a few minutes because I don't want to hit its duty cycle or anything. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off for a little while. I'm sure you guys have seen enough welding already. And once I get everything ready to go together to the next step, I'll turn the camera back on so that way you guys can see what's going on. But I'm going to go ahead and get both of these legs welded up and finish welding that cross piece on the top part and get the legs jigged onto it, and then I'll turn the camera back on so you guys can see what's next. I'll talk to you later. See ya.